In this lesson we're going to look at what is a ratio. So a ratio shows the relative sizes of two or more values. So, for an example, let's say we've got a class with 30 students in it, there's 10 boys and 20 girls. We could write a ratio of boys to girls. And it's important what order we put them in. We'll have a look at that shortly. But in this case, we've got boys to girls. So we're going to write the number of boys first, colon, and then 20, which represents the number of girls. So we use a colon when we're talking about ratios to represent a ratio. We could also write it though as a fraction, so 10 over 20. A decimal, now 10 over 20 as a decimal works out to be 0.5 or half. Okay, 10 over 20 simplifies down to half, so that would mean there are half as many boys as there are girls. Or as a percentage, now 0.5 written as a percentage is 50%. So all of them represent the same ratio. 50% boys, the number of boys is 50% that of the girls, or it's 0.5, half that of the girls, so they all represent the same thing. Now I mentioned that it's important what order we say them in because we'll get different answers. So in our example we would say the ratio of boys to girls, so it's boys to girls, is 10 to 20. What if I asked though about what is the ratio of girls to boys? Well, we would have to put it the other way around because there are 20 girls and 10 boys. So the ratio of girls to boys is 20 to 10. The ratio of boys to students is 10 to 30 because there are 10 boys and there are 30 students, all up, the 20 and the 10. So if I asked the ratio of boys to students, it would be 10 to 30. Now if I asked you the ratio of girls to students, what do you think that would be? Given that there are 20 girls and 30 students, it would be 20 to 30. So it's important that you listen for the question, what's being asked, because you'll get different ratios depending on the numbers of what you're asked. Now you can go through and take these ratios and convert them, like we said, to fractions, decimals and percentage. Let's look at some examples. 1 to 4 as a ratio, as a fraction would be 1 over 4. Okay, so it's this number over this number. 1 over 4 is a quarter, or written as a decimal, that's 0.25. And we know from previous work that 0.25 decimal is 25%. A ratio of 3 to 5 will be written as a fraction 3 over 5, or 3/5, which is 0.6 as a decimal, or 60%. What about a ratio of something like this, 7 to 2? Well, we follow the same process. We could write it as a fraction, 7 over 2, which would work out to be 3.5 as a decimal, or 350%. So that's our introduction to ratios, what they are, how we write them, and the different ways that they can be written.